Hey guys, welcome back to Jessin Reads Romance. I'm Jessin and today I'm going to be going over my April TBR. I'm so excited about this month because I decided to do a lot more spinner wheels for like random picks for what I should read for this month. I don't technically make a TBR video of like everything that I want to plan for the month because I'm such a mood reader. I feel so bad if I say like 20 plus books and then it turns out to be completely different. So these are like the books that are my main focus, and then it allows me to mood read for the rest of the month. So anyway, first off, I am going to be rereading the books for April that we're featuring on the podcast. The first book that we're going to be featuring is The Takeover by T.L. Swan. It is my favorite book by T.L. Swan. It's the second book in the Miles High Club series. You don't technically need to read The Stopover before The Takeover. Juliet has only read The Takeover and she's going to circle back to The Stopover, but I love this romance so much. The heroine is a widow and she has 3 young kids, slightly enemies to lovers in the beginning because she does not like Tristan Miles. He's trying to buy her company because this is his whole purpose in this Miles Brothers conglomerate is he is the head of mergers and acquisitions. And so she is not really excited that Tristan is looking to take over her business, and she lets him know it. I love it so much because her kids make it. There's so many funny scenes involving her children. It just cracks me up so much, and I love Tristan's relationship with them, so I can't wait to reread this book. I'm definitely looking forward to it. The next book is something that I kind of debated on putting on the podcast, the next 2 actually. So, Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Maurier, or Marillier if you want to say it that way. I think she might pronounce it that way, but it's just... Anyway, I'm from Louisiana. So, Daughter of the Forest is one of the first books that I ever read and like loved. Period. First books ever. Besides like books that I was reading in elementary school or for like AR reading. Juliette was the one to introduce me to Juliette Maurier. But this book is not technically like strictly a romance. There is a romantic element in it. There is an HEA at the end of it, but it's more prominently historical fantasy. And I loved it. I love it so much. It has a lot to do with like Celtic mythology, has some fae in it, and it's just, it's an amazing book, and I cannot wait to talk about it on the podcast. So my favorite book in the Seven Waters series, it used to be a trilogy, is Daughter of the Forest, the first one. And Juliette's favorite was Son of Shadows, which is the second book. I love Son of Shadows as well. It's another 5-star book for me, but I couldn't decide which one to put on the podcast. While we were recording one of our previous episodes in March, we decided to flip a coin to see which one we would pick. It landed on Daughter of the Forest, but then I felt bad. And I was like, but I want to do Son of Shadows. So guess what the next book, the third book of April is going to be? Son of Shadows. And this is going to be the daughter, the heroine's going to be the daughter of the heroine in the first book. I love it so much. So freaking good. And then finally, I'm going to be reading Just Like Heaven by Julia Quinn. This is the first book in her Smythe Smith series quartet. And I just love this so much because this is like a friends to lovers romance. It really is technically kind of like you're best friends with my brother, but they have a friendly relationship and it plays out as friends to lovers. It's really amazing. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite books that Julia Quinn's written. It's just like nice and soft and heartwarming, and so I really like it. So we put it on the podcast because I was in need of a good historical romance that was just an old favorite. I have 2 arcs for April that I need to get to. The first one I really should have read in March, but I had a lot going on in the Kindle Clear Out Readathon and I was mood reading like hell. So anyway, Twice Shy by Sarah Hogel. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I have an arc of this book. I didn't read her debut novel though. I don't remember what that one was called. Okay, so it was called You Deserve Each Other, but I have an arc of Twice Shy. So Twice Shy, it says, can you find real love when you've always got your head in the clouds? Mabel Parrish has always been a dreamer and a hopeless romantic, but living in her own world has long been preferable to dealing with the disappointments of real life. So when Mabel inherits a charming house in the Smokies from her great aunt Violet, she seizes the opportunity to make a fresh start. Yet when she arrives, it seems her troubles have only just begun. Not only is the house falling apart around her, but she isn't the only inheritor. She has to share everything with Wesley Kohler, the groundskeeper who's as grouchy as he is gorgeous. And it turns out he has a very different vision for the property's future. Convincing the taciturn Wesley to stop avoiding her and compromises a task for more formidable than the other dying wishes great Aunt Violet left behind. This sounds like a really cute romance, so I requested it. I try not to request too many books, and I've been avoiding requesting any books with like more of a cartoony cover. Don't ask me why. They haven't been pulling my attention, but I did request this a while ago. So anyway, I have this one. I am excited to read it. Sounds really good. Kind of like Forced Proximity because they both inherited the house. So I'm excited. And that comes out on April 6th. So again, gotta read that one quick. So I did a last minute request for Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. Honestly, this book kind of fell off my radar a little bit. Like, it wasn't as prominent since it's been so long since her last release. It wasn't as prominent in my mind. I kind of forgot that it was releasing soon. And so I just decided, well, why not? Let's request it. And so same day, it was like approved. So I have Second First Impressions, and then I realized that the actual release date is very soon. It comes out on April 13th. But anyway, so the heroine, whose name is Ruthie, she works at the front desk for a retirement home, and then there's a romance with the new son of the property developer who just acquired the retirement center, and his name's Teddy Prescott. So Teddy's character sounds like he has just been like a wild child. Definitely no plans to like settle down in the near future, and his father kind of wants him to be more responsible. And so when he develops this property and his son needs a place to crash, he's like, fine, but you need to help around this property. And then Ruthie's personality is completely opposite because she kind of feels like an old soul, and she feels more kinship with the, you know, aging residents. And so I'm really excited about this like opposites attract romance. I hope it's gonna be really cute. I don't have like high expectations for it, but I have expectations. Now for the book club picks. So for the Rake Appreciation Society, they are reading Texas Destiny, and I'm so excited to be rereading this book. It's been a while since I've read Texas Destiny. This was my first, sorry. Anyway, Texas Destiny was the first Lorraine Heath book that I ever read. Aaron and Clayton did a review of Texas Destiny on Learning the Tropes podcast, and it made me pick it up. This was the first Western historical romance that I've ever read as well, and I really love it because there's a scarred hero, and she's a mail order bride, but for his brother. So it's like, I love it. I love it so much. I can't wait to reread this. Their live show is going to be the second Thursday of April, which I don't know what that date is. What date is that? April 8th. Then for the historical Hellions, I'm going to be reading Shanna by Kathleen Woodiwiss. This will be the first book that I read by Kathleen Woodiwiss. I have owned The Wolf and the Dove, but I never got a chance to read it. And I am going to be on the live show for this review. I'm so excited to be able to chat with everybody about this. I missed the live show last month for Once and Always because I was doing the live show for the Kindle Clear Out Readathon. So I'm so excited that I'm actually going to be with Samantha and Jess talking about this book. So let's see, what do we have in store for us? It says, behind the foreboding walls of Newgate Prison, a pact is sealed in secret as a dashing and doomed criminal consents to wed a beautiful heiress in return for one night of unparalleled pleasure. In the fading echoes of hollow wedding vows, a promise is broken as a sensuous free spirit flees to a lush Caribbean paradise, abandoning the handsome stranger she married to the gallows. But Rourke Beauchamp, probably gonna pronounce it Beecham or something like that, destiny is now eternally intertwined with his exquisite, tempestuous Shanna's, and no iron ever forged can imprison his magnificent passion, and no hangman's noose will deny him the ecstasy that is rightfully his. This is very intriguing. I'm excited about this. So arranged marriage to save him from the gallows, but she runs away anyway. So fun. As always, when you're reading books, I think this was published in 1977. But as always, whenever you're reading books that were published in the early stages of romance, there's probably going to be consent issues with this. I'm assuming. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about this book, but just assuming there's probably going to be consent issues. If that's a problem for you, then I wouldn't be reading the old school historical romances at all. And then my good friend Jen from the Book Refuge asked if I wanted to do a buddy read for this month, and I said yes, and she wanted to do Catherine Coulter. I recently did a book haul of Catherine Coulter's, and she has read them all before basically, and I've read none of them. And she's like, I want you to read them. So we're going to read The Sherbrooke Bride. This is the first book in her Bride trilogy. I really love the step back for this one too. It's a double pager with a cute horse on it. Every time I see horses, I think of Crystal. Always and forever. We'll always associate it with Crystal. So it says, Douglas Sherbrooke, Earl of Northcliffe, is a man besieged. He must have an heir. Then he must first provide himself with the requisite bride. Alexander Chambers, youngest daughter of the Duke of Beresford, has loved Douglas Sherbrooke since she was 15. Unfortunately, it's her sister, the incomparable Melisande, he wished to wed. But life never ladles out what one expects, and Douglas finds himself wed to the wrong sister. If having an unwanted wife isn't enough, he is also plagued by the virgin bride, a ghost that is reputedly seen in the Countess's bedchamber. Does the willowy phantom really appear to Douglas? Does she speak to him? Interesting. So we have slight ghost story. I'm down for it. I'm like, I don't know what to expect from Catherine Coulter, but I'm here for it. Okay, so now, here's where we do the spinner wheels. I have a couple of them. I do this monthly. I decided in order to get through some of the historical romances that I've collected, I needed to pick them each month on a spinner wheel. So we're definitely going to spin for one of those, but I have some other categories that I also want to include this month. So I did change out, I added 2 books to the spinner wheel because I removed The Pagan and the Pirate because the historical Hellions will be reviewing The Pagan and the Pirate by Virginia Henley in September. So I just removed that one. It was on this list. So the 2 new editions are The Velvet Promise by Jude Deveraux and Through the Storm by Beverly Jenkins. So those are the 2 new additions to the wheel this time. And let's spin. The Princess and the Barbarian by Bettina Cron. Okay, so here it is, The Princess and the Barbarian. I do love the step back because he has like a furry little kilt skirt. So it says, lovely, tempestuous, and devoted to her subjects, Princess Thera must marry before she can be crowned Queen of Mercia. But her reluctant search for a husband has plunged her into the gravest peril, into the arms of a handsome barbarian. Powerful, hot-blooded, and cunning, Saxe Ruin rescues Thera from a band of savage mercenaries, only to demand as his reward 3 nights of pleasure in the royal beauty's bed. Even as all of Mercia falls victim to Saxe's raw, beautiful charm, the proud princess vows to resist the scoundrel who has breached the battlements of her sheltered world. But a passionate, irresistible yearning entreats Thera to surrender her heart and her kingdom to this bronzed warrior who would vanquish her enemies to win her steadfast love. Interesting. So I'll be reading that one. So the next thing I'm going to spin for are books that I already own. And these are kind of like recent purchases that I have. So I just kind of like took the most recent purchases that I have, stuck them on a wheel. Doesn't matter what genre they are. A lot of them are contemporaries just because that's been my vibe lately. So let's see what I have. I thought it was going to be The Affair. Kissing Lessons. Who's that by? Did I not put the author? I think I remember this. This was a free book that I got. Okay. It's Kissing Lessons by Stephanie London. I do remember talking about this one. So it says, this is in Kissing Creek and everything is romance themed. Audrey Miller doesn't believe in happily ever after, so she's definitely living in the wrong town, but she's never getting out of Kissing Creek because she's playing pseudo mom to her younger siblings and it doesn't leave much time for anything else. She's a barista in a college town, and then there's a new professor named Ronan Walsh that comes into town, and he shows an interest in her, and she basically like doesn't believe him because she's just like, I don't have time. Like, you probably want like a smart, educated woman, and I'm just like basically a struggling single mom to my younger siblings, so like, why would you even bother with me? I'm excited that I spun for this one. Yay. Okay, let me put it in my Airtable so I don't forget. Okay, I have one more spinner wheel. I decided to make a spinner wheel for a lot of Kindle Unlimited books that I have, so I check out 10 at a time. I always have a full collection of KU on my Kindle, but there's a lot more, as you can see on here. I put a lot more titles because there's a lot of KU titles that interest me, so instead of having to pick out of the ones that I've already checked out, I just put a lot more on there so like I wouldn't forget them. And let's see, let's spin. Dead Man Walking by Gianna Darling. This is very serendipitous because I said that I wanted to read this one. I was like, I really need to read Priest and Bee, and we were talking about it on the Kindle Clear Out live show because we were talking about Gianna Darling, and I love it. So this is perfect. I'm so happy with all of my picks. I do need to remember to go remove these from the spinner wheels because I'm going to be doing this every month and possibly during the month, I might do it as well, just on my own, to kind of direct me, because mood reader. And finally, there's one new release that I'm looking forward to in April. It is Bombshells by Serena Bowen. This is a continuation of her Brooklyn series, so it's hockey romance, and I feel like it's been such a long time since I've read a hockey romance. I need that in my life. I am looking for, I don't even know who this is about. It's been such a long time since I've read a book in that series. This is a women's league. Look, yeah, I put this on my list of anticipated reads because I like Serena Bowen, not because I knew what it was about. But apparently it says the Women's League is in the house and Brooklyn will never be the same again for Anton Bayer and the team. So apparently Anton has a playboy reputation and he's promised himself no boozing, no women, no scandals. He's falling for a female hockey player named Sylvie. Okay, that's all I want to read about it. I'm excited about that. Yay! Okay, April is looking like a really good month for me. Fingers crossed that it's going to be just as good as March, because I feel like March I had a lot of books that I really loved. So I want to repeat. So please, hopefully, praying to the book gods that I have a great reading experience for this month. Let me know down in the comments below what books you plan on reading in April. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to get notified on any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye, guys.